Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, children. Today we are going to begin with our lesson number 2 of language, class 8. The topic is, as we have mentioned already, clauses. You remember the last time we did sentences and their types. In that, partially we had made it clear the difference between a clause and a sentence. Clauses are group of words which contain a finite verb and form part of a sentence. Today we are going to do in detail the kinds of clauses. Before we do that, let's review quickly what we have enunciated, or rather what we had understood in the last lesson, that a complex sentence contains at least 2 finite verbs. There are as many clauses in the sentence as there are finite verbs. So if there are 2 finite verbs, there are 2 clauses. There's only one main clause, which is known as the principal clause in a complex sentence. Thirdly, the word or words that join a subordinate clause with the main clause are called subordinating conjunctions. This is a review of what we understood the last time. Now let's go into detail about kinds of subordinate clauses. There are different kinds of subordinate clauses. Children, I would like you to open up page 5 and along with me read out the contents, which I will simultaneously explain to you. There are 3 kinds of subordinate clauses. One known as noun clause, the other adjective clause, the third adverb clause. Now actually, why we call them by these names? When we use a clause which works as a noun in a sentence, that will be known as noun clause. The one which we will use as an adjective in a sentence, that will be called as adjective clause. Whereas when we use it as an adverb in a sentence, then it will be called an adverb clause. I hope, children, that all these 3 types of clauses are clear to you. Children, we had just completed explaining to you the kinds of clauses, the noun clause, the adjective clause, and the adverb clause. But now we will specifically discuss the noun clause and its functions. When a group of words containing a finite verb forms a part of a sentence and works in place of a noun, it can function as in many ways. To start with, number 1, it can function as a subject of a word. The example that I have given to you is different than what is given in the book. This is, who will be punished? We are not sure. The noun clause in the above sentence, in the given sentence, functions as the subject to the verb are. Clear? And it thus stands as the subject to the verb. The second example, where it is going to function as object of a verb. Here, the sentence is, example, I remembered the secret you had shared with me. The noun clause in this sentence functions as the object to the transitive verb remembered. Therefore, here it is the object to the verb. Now we come to the third function when we are using the clause as object of a participle. Example, hearing that I had an accident, my friend came to visit me. Now here, the noun clause in the sentence stands as the object to the participle. That is, hearing. And not for the verb came, but the focus is on the participle. Now the fourth function is when we are using it as object of an infinitive. Now if you look up at the example, his brother came to tell me, infinitive, that they have shifted to a new house. The noun clause in this sentence stands as the object to the infinitive to tell. The fifth one, here the clause is being used, the function of the clause here is object of a preposition. The example, they depend on, this is the preposition. Who they depend on? The aid that they get. The noun clause in this sentence stands as the object to the preposition here, on, and not to the verb they get. Focus is on the preposition. It is doing the function of the preposition. Number 6, as a complement of a verb of incomplete predication. Now what do we exactly mean by this? Here, example is, success is the hard work we put in. Now we are actually, in this case, is a complement. That is why we say success is what it is. It is the hard work we put in. The last one, in apposition, that is when we are adding up to a noun or pronoun. The example is, the news of my friend that he died in an accident was a great shock to me. In this sentence, the noun clause is in apposition to the noun news. Is it clear? That, and what was the news? That he died in an accident. What was it? It was a great shock to me. I hope, children, all the 7 functions that we have discussed right now of a noun clause are clear to you. Children, we have just done the functions of the noun clause. How do we use it? There are 7 different ways that they function. Now I would like you to please open up page number 7, and here we are now going to discuss the adjective clause and their function. Now what are adjective clause? Just like when a clause works in place of a noun, it is known as a noun clause. Now that we are talking about adjective clause, When a clause functions in place of an adjective, it is an adjective clause. There are, just like noun clause, these also function in different ways. If you look up on page 7, 3 of them are mentioned over here. Number 1, they tell us something more about the subject of the main clause. Example, the gift that Rabia brought was the best. The main clause, the gift that Rabia brought, is an additional information about the main clause. So this is one way of using the adjective clause when it tells us about the subject. In the second case, to modify a noun in the predicate. Look at the example. He is the boy. Subject. Who broke the window? It's the predicate. Right? Now, he is the boy who broke the window. We here are focusing on the noun. In the predicate, what is noun? Window. In this sentence, adjective clause describes the boy. This is to modify a noun in the predicate. The third type, to modify the direct object in the principal clause. Example, the puppy brought the ball. That is master 3. The adjective clause in the above sentence tells us the direct object, that is ball, in the principal clause. The fourth type, that is on page 8, I hope you have turned your page and open up page 8. On page 8, when we talk about the fifth function, here we are trying to modify the object to a preposition in the principal clause. Example, we walked down the road where the restaurant was located. Here the adjective clause is modifying the object, the road, to the preposition down. So, in short, we have come to the end of adjective clause, which can be used in 5 different ways. That's their function. Now, children, please open up page 9. Now we are going to talk about the adverb clauses. Once again, I repeat, when a clause functions in place of a noun, it is a noun clause. When it functions in place of an adjective, it becomes an adjective clause. But this time we are talking about an adverb clause. Now, kinds of adverb clauses. Adverb clauses are of many kinds. You have already learnt about the adverb clause of time, place, reason, and comparison. An adverb clause of time is introduced by a subordinate conjunction when, whenever, while, after, below, before, since, as long as soon as, no sooner than, till, until, etc. Example here, the thief ran away when he saw the policeman. This is the adverb clause of time. Now when we talk about adverb clause of place, is introduced by the subordinate conjunctions. And what are those? Where, what, wherever, whence, whither, etc. Example, where there is peace, there is prosperity. This is adverb clause of place. In the third, adverb clause of reason is introduced by the subordinate conjunction. Example, he was angry because we came late. This is a reason, clause of reason, adverb clause of reason. Now, there are other kinds of adverb clause too, such as clause of purpose. An adverb clause of purpose is used when the intended result or purpose of an action is to be described. An adverb clause of purpose is introduced by a subordinate conjunctions such as, so that, lest. Last of all, an adverb clause of purpose is used in two cases. The first one is the person to whom it refers is different from the subject of the main clause. Like, example, the criminal telephoned from a public booth so that the police wouldn't trace him. Number two, second case, when the original subject is repeated again. He worked hard so that he may succeed. Lest means for fear that and is always followed by should. In order, that is used in the same sense so that. Example, walk carefully lest you should fall down. It's a touch of warning in it. In the second last sentence, laws must be reasonable in order that all may obey them, so that they may be obeyed. Alright children, we stop here. Now let's go to the written work.